What's going on, guys? Welcome back to NolanTCG, and we are back here today for another deck profile, and this time it's for Beetroopers, or I guess we say insects, because this deck is essentially just the insect toolbox deck. You slam a bunch of insects together. Turns out it does something when you give it a bit of added consistency and free extension. Who would have thought? But we will go through the deck profile for this one, hopefully with the next added support coming out in Burst of Destiny. I think that's the set's name. I keep forgetting it. I shouldn't. I bought a case of it. We will be seeing more Beetrooper support. Hopefully it will become just a full-fledged deck. Then maybe a search card. Search card might be good, just to be able to like toolbox out anything into your hand. We do have some pretty good techs. Maybe another way to special summon Beetrooper Scout Buggy. That'd be really, really nice. But we will get into the deck profile for this one. As always, though, before we do get started, we're tripling over our words again. Do remember to hit that subscribe button if you are new here, because we are always happy to have new people on the channel. And let's get on into this deck profile. Before we do get started on this one, though, it is brought to you, of course, by yourplaymat.com, who got us our beautiful NolanTCG Extra Deck sleeves. These are available on yourplaymat.com, as well as you can get custom sleeves and custom playmats, so whatever you need for the current format. There is an affiliate link in the description down below that does get you a little bit of a discount on your order. Also, enter the code NOLAN10YP for 10% off your order. Also kicks back a little bit to the channel, so everything will be very much appreciated. If you're shopping there, you're getting custom sleeves, custom playmats down. Make sure to enter our code at checkout. But let's get on into this deck profile. Okay, so starting us off, of course, we start with 3 copies of Beetrooper Scout Buggy himself. He is almost a tool guide. He summons himself. If he summoned any insect that's level 3 or lower, that'd be pretty insane. Instead, he just summons himself. Really, really good opening card if you have an extra piece of extension, because that'll get you through most of your entire combo. In the situations where you summon him at the end of your board, we will go through a cute little tech that we're playing as we go along, and that'll kind of make sense as to why that would be good to summon out at the end of the combo. Then next off, we have the card that is the Chain Blocker, so we have 3 copies of Beetrooper Scale Bomber. It just chain blocks your normal summon effects and gets a free body on board. Really, really good. Turns out, cards that do that tend to be really good in combo decks. So, 3 copies of Scale Bomber, of course. You do get, like, the random pop. However, it's not really necessary. It's rare that it's going to come up. You can use it on the opponent's turn, so it can add an extra layer of disruption if you do want to go with that. And then lastly, we have the DD Crow / Searcher of the deck. It is 3 copies of Beetrooper Sting Lancer. If you get hand trapped, it's an extender. Also gets you your Beetrooper spell and trap cards, so you field spell and you counter trap. Then we get into our Battle Wasp engine, which is next. This is just, again, more normal summons, which can get you through full combo. So we, of course, have 3 copies of Sting the Poison, and this is essentially normal summon search for your 3 copies of Beetrooper. Sorry, not Beetrooper, Battle Wasp, Pin the Bullseye. Essentially, 200 damage. Nah, it's a free special summon, but it does 200 damage. The 200 damage, of course, is going to win you lots of matches in time. Then after that, we have the next normal summon for our deck. This deck does have a lot of normal summons, however, it does have a double summon, so that will make sense as we go along. It's 2 copies of Arbalest. Arbalest is a Reborn from Grave for a level 3 or lower. You're typically going to be using this on your follow-up turn to produce game. However, you can drop it in the middle of combos to really keep extending and get to a good end board. Then we have next off the cards that we tend to toolbox and generally use as broken cards because they aren't once per turn. The big point of that is Resonance Insect. When it's sent from field or graveyard, from field to the graveyard, add 1 level 5 or higher insect monster from your deck to your hand. If this card's banished, send one insect monster from deck to the grave. That is good because we can send our Goki Pole, and our Goki Pole will get us a search for a level 4 or lower. So that's essentially how we're going to be toolboxing out our entire deck, is by sending the Resonance Insect, or banishing the Resonance Insect, sending and banishing. It'll get you everything that you need. And then after that we have the free extension. Also, don't forget, this card, not once per turn. Very, very good. This card is once per turn. Slightly less good. Then we have next our free special summons. So that is 2 copies of Insecta Piccolo, the level 4 or lower free special summon. This is essentially just a, I've forgotten its name. Earth Dude, banish 1, summon. Same thing. Forgot the name. We keep moving though. Then after that we have 1 Dozer. So Dozer is effectively the same thing, except it's a banish 2. It does have the mandatory effect that if it inflicts battle damage to foolish a card from your opponent's deck, against decks that like their cards to be in graveyard, that can kind of suck, but it's something that will happen. Rarely will you actually have this on your end board though to attack anyway. It's only if you're really disrupted is that going to be the case. Then after that we have our big insects. So we have one copy of Kumamungus. This is something we're again going to be searching off Residence Insect to clear the opponent's board on follow-up. And then the cute tech card that I play, it is one copy of Scary Moth. Scary Moth can be summoned onto your opponent's board, onto your board on your opponent's turn, which can effectively winder them out. You're going to basically be summoning it off the rank 3 for the deck. That then changes its own battle position. You summon the Scary Moth. If I am wrong about that, do make sure to comment that down below. I'm almost certain that is the way that functions. And then, hey, you've negated your opponent's monster effect, and then you've just slapped a winder on board. That seems pretty good, doesn't it? I'm sure a lot of decks would love to be able to do that, and that is something that you can do in this deck. Then lastly, the last insect monster that we play, it is one copy of Shiny Black Sea Squatter. The reason why we're playing Squatter is because he's the biggest attack level 4 insect that we can get for the free summon off Gokipole. You can, of course, play the one with the least attack if you do want to play that. I'm not 100% sure the name of it. It's like the little insecty. Of course, it's an insect. It summons an insect. It's like the circular bug thing, looking thing. That one is low attack because then you get more pops. Then we get into our hand traps after this. 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring are the way to go for your staple hand trap. Of course, you can switch this out for anything that really you find necessary at your locals, as I struggle through a burp there. Then after that, we get into our spell and trap lineup. Surprisingly small spell and trap lineup. We're playing, I believe, 31 monsters. So that is a big problem, I guess. Maybe a way to negate spell and trap cards would be good for this deck in future, because you don't have a way to do that. But we start off with our one copy of Beetrooper Formation. We're going to be searching this if we summon off Stinglancer on the opponent's turn, because this then gives us follow-up for the next turn. 3 copies of Ready Fusion, follow that up. This is going to be our free summon for Kawaga Hercules. Again, just more extension pieces to get you through combos. Then we have 3 copies of Forbidden Droplet. This can again be switched out for any interaction you prefer. I've just gone with this for now. I do mainly play Spell and Trap removal in this line, just because this deck has such issues dealing with Spell and Trap negates. So you just, play Spell and Trap removal, clear them out, and then hopefully you don't have to deal with them. That then does bring us to the trap cards that we play in our lineup. One of them is relevant for that. We are playing one copy of Beetrooper Flying Sting. You're going to be searching this on your turn when you summon Stinglancer. This is just your standard counter trap that every deck gets. Our one negates monsters. And then lastly, the 40th card, the card you will hopefully see all the time because you are a good Tri-Brigade player, and that is one copy of Imperial Order. Negate spells, the one thing you don't have an interaction to negate in this deck. Okay, now we start with our extra deck. Of course, we are starting this off with 3 copies of Beetrooper Armorhorn. This is your double summon for the deck. Also summons itself back by banishing. There have been a lot of times where my opponent has thought they've stopped me by really stopping my ability to keep continuing to summon. They stop the search from the Residence Insect when you send it to Graveyard, so then you can't banish it. And then you just link off your Armorhorn, then banish it anyway, and then summon your Armorhorn, and then you just keep going, and they're like, well, what? You're not meant to be able to do this. I'm on a tangent, though. But yeah, locks you to insects. That is something to keep in mind, that all Beetrooper monsters, when they're on the board, hard lock you to insects. Realistically, it's irrelevant, but it does come up as we go through the rest of our extra deck, that can be situations where that's not the best. After that, we are playing 3 copies of Insecta Piccolo. That's definitely not what it actually says. I know that's what it actually says. That's what I call it. It's Insecta Piccolo. This is going to be equipping from deck to another insect monster you control, your Residence Insect, and that's going to be how you're guaranteeing your insect's going to be resolving every turn. Then we have our Link 3. This does not lock you into insect monsters when it's on the field, which is how you're going to be transitioning through to the other stuff in your extra deck. It is Seraphim Papillon? This is essentially gains counters. You're not going to really use its effect. There are situations where it can come up if you want to be able to build a wide board on your opponent's turn, because it does have the ability to summon back from your graveyard, but you can't use both effects in one turn. That's the thing. It adds counters to itself, which is one effect. It removes counters to summon. So it is one effect only per turn. Kinda sucks, but hey. It doesn't lock you to insects, so you can go into access code. Spoilers, that comes up soon. After that, we have our Link 4 for the deck. Pretty easy to summon, though. It's just 2 insect monsters. It is Giant Beetrooper Invincible Atlas. Tributes another insect monster to summon a Beetrooper from deck. You can summon your Stinglancer, get you the counter trap, or if you haven't used Scout Buggy effect, you can summon the Scout Buggy, summon another one, and then you can go into your Cicada King, and then hopefully you set up Scary Moth at that point. You can kind of see where that combo is coming from. Then we go into our non-insect link monsters. They are necessary for times. One copy of Almirage is the first one. Sometimes you want to be able to link off the insect that you've gotten on board. If you hard normal summon a Resonance Insect, can go into Almirage, which can then often lead you to almost a full combo, so you don't have to stress too much about that. One copy of Cross Sheep comes after that. There are situations where if you open one Resonance Insect and I believe it's Ready Fusion, you can go into like Cross Sheep and get a very, very wide board going, and that is quite interesting to do. Then after that, we have one copy of Nightmare Unicorn, just for shuffling away and transitioning through to your access code. But this typically will come off your Seraphim or your Nightmare Unicorns. That way it is nice and big, ready to punch through the opponent. Then we have our XEs after that. It is one copy of Cicada King. It is a targeted negation for a monster on board, and then switches... Oh, it's not targeted negation, it's chain response. Chain response, negate the activation. Negate the activation, negate the effect. Look, read the card. We're just going to stumble over words, apparently. Then you can switch its battle position, summon Scary Moth, win to the opponent. And then lastly, it is the card that is very expensive, so I understand if you don't want to play Ready Fusion because of it. It is one copy of Hercules Kawaga, or Kawaga Hercules. This is the Italian copy. I keep it in my goat deck, and it's lucky that I had it, I guess, because now didn't have to get the expensive card. But that wraps up here for the deck profile for this one. So as always, if you do have any recommendations or things you would change, make sure to comment them down below. Hopefully the Beetrooper support we get in the next set is just as good as the support we got this set, because it was quite good. But as always though, I've been Ben from NolanTCG, and have a good afternoon everybody.